Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going over the golden PPSH in Call of Duty Cold War. Now this gun was definitely a grind to get golden, because you guys know those 75 point blank range kills, they're just something else. Anyways, timestamps will be down in the description, and let's go ahead and jump straight into this video. Starting out with the 300 eliminations. I wouldn't even stress about this in any sort of way. I wouldn't even try and go for this challenge, just because you have to complete this to complete the other ones. Like I'm going to mention multiple times throughout this video, fast-paced small maps are going to be the best way to get as many kills as you can fast. So Nuketown 24/7 has been a big thing for quite a while. I would recommend jumping in there. Getting that 300 eliminations will be super easy. These 75 headshots, again, not something that I would really stress about whatsoever. As you're getting other challenges, this will be really easy to complete. If you need to go for this in the future, I would just recommend throwing on any of the lower zoomed reticle sights, such as the quick dot LED sight, the microflex, any of the ones that really have that 0.5, maybe 0.25 magnification. And then once again, smaller maps makes it extremely easy to get headshots if you're just going for those headshots. I'm going to have a class setup at the very end of this video. I would recommend following for those headshots and just about anything else, because it helps control that recoil quite a bit. 5 kills without dying 20 times. What I do, this is actually really simple to do, even if you're not as great as a player. What I do is I run out, try and get those 2 to 3 kills as fast as I can, and then I'll kind of pull back a little bit and wait to get those other 2 to 3 kills. You just have to play it a lot safer and a lot slower to get those kills. Now, if you're an above average player, again, this is another one that you might not even have to think about, and over time, as you're completing other challenges, this will complete itself. But again, once again, you can get those kills pretty fast and then pull back. If you have to play corners, play smart, I would recommend that to get those other few kills. Now we're getting a little bit more into the harder challenges, as 50 long shots can be kind of a pesky one to do. As with my other challenges, I jumped straight into Nuketown for this challenge. But instead of just normal Nuketown, I'll jump into hardcore Nuketown and make a few different attachment changes. What I do is throw on some of the larger, higher magnification sights, such as the 3x sight here. And now that can sound a little weird, like, why do I need basically a sniper scope on an SMG? But it actually helps quite a bit. For my barrel, I run one of the higher or longer barrels to help with that effective damage range. Generally, I go for the 14.9 inch reinforced heavy. This is a plus 18% effective damage range and that plus 80% bullet velocity, which helps quite a bit. You can also go for the task force, which helps with damage and effective damage range quite a bit, but you're losing a lot of your recoil control, which can help hurt you even more than help you. From there, for my underbarrel, I run the Spetsnaz grip, as this helps with recoil. Super helpful for longer ranges. Generally, probably the 40 round speed mag works best for me. And then honestly, you can run whatever other attachment that you want. These are the attachments that help the most with that recoil and that effective damage range. You can also go into your settings and lower your ADS stick sensitivity. And I would do probably the high zoom if you're using that higher magnification sight, as this makes it, when you're aimed in, it's a little bit easier to hit those shots. Now, all the spots in the background that you were able to see is what I highly recommend using. Really, that back corner of the map is the best place, in my opinion, looking into the garage, or the garage looking towards that other back corner. Moving on to the 75 enemies detected. This is a super easy one to do. It will take a little bit longer to do, but generally I don't even think about this one. What I do is, the most important thing is going to be your score streaks. I run the spy plane, the counter spy plane, and the harp. If you're not a above average player, I would not recommend running the harp, as it can be fairly hard to get. So I'd just recommend using any other score streak other than the harp, as it's not really going to change the time that it takes to get the UAV and the counter UAV. Now, having these up in the air will help with those detected kills, as we can see here. You just have to detect them, stun them, blind them, buy your score streaks, equipment, or field upgrades. So on top of having those just constantly in the air, which it helps enough that you probably don't even need to anything else, I also run these stun grenades, which actually also helps with the point blank range kills, which we'll go over in a moment. But stunning people, killing them, that counts straight towards that. You can use the flashbang as well. And then I believe using the field mic actually detects people as well in a way. I haven't tried it out, to be honest, but it does talk about a field upgrade being able to do that. And this was the only one that I could see doing that. Maybe the jammer, but this does detect it as it shows it on the minimap. So you can try using that as well. Moving on to the one that I hated the most, it took me the longest to do, is the 75 kills point blank range. Now this one you will get pissed off doing. There's just no way around it. It's gonna take you a while. It's a pain in the ass in general. There's a few different attachments that help me a lot with this. What I always did, I used the stun grenade, I threw it around a corner where I knew someone was, and I pushed up and slid into them. What you can do is throw on the 5 milliwatt laser, which will help with that hip fire accuracy, that point blank range. You're going to be hip firing a lot. And then I also throw on the duster stock, which help with your sliding speed. Now you can put any other attachments on this. These are the two attachments that help the most with sliding and getting those point blank range kills, along with that stun or the flashbang. So on Nuketown, the corner that I like to call the God corner is right here. Now this works on both sides really. As soon as, it doesn't matter if you're right off the rip. If you're coming straight from the beginning of the match, you might need to wait a second, but I always just stun this corner. And then usually you hit someone and you can slide and just shoot them. It's super easy to do. Most of the time I get at least one person here per life at least. Sometimes depending on the skill level of your lobby, you might not be able to. Some people wear tac mask. There's just so many different variables that happen. You can also do it right here, I would recommend, as this is a great spot for this side. You can try this side, throwing it here, but it just doesn't work as well for me. I also like playing inside the buildings as much as possible. You can stay here until someone runs past, run up behind them. If you're playing that kind of route, I would make sure to run the ninja perk so that you can run around quietly. People aren't hearing you. So mostly what you're going to have to do, use those stunts, slide into your opponents, play close quarters, and just be patient. It will take a long time to do. It's a pain in the ass, but it's very rewarding after you finish it. This will probably be the one that takes you the longest to do, unfortunately. Now, last but not least, killing 2 or more enemies rapidly. Again, just play smaller maps. This should come in time. If you're one that plays back a bit more, I would recommend pushing up more for this. And honestly, you should complete this by the time that you complete those point blank range kills. Point blank range will probably be what takes you the longest. Now, if Nuketown isn't in the rotation, I would recommend just playing any of the 24/7 playlists. Generally, they're the smallest maps, and these should be completed in a fairly decent time for you. The last thing that I want to cover in this video is my class setup that I use all the time. It works great for me, and I'm sure that'll work great for y'all. One of the things with this weapon is that it has a very high recoil, and it runs through ammo really fast, so you kind of have to work around that. For my optic sight, usually I run the Microflex LED. Run whatever you feel comfortable with. For my barrel, I run the 14.9-inch reinforced heavy. That effective damage range and bullet velocity is great in exactly what you need. Now, if I'm doing a challenge that I need, like the point blank range or any of that kind of stuff, I'll throw on that 5 milliwatt laser. Other than that, I won't even bother putting on the body. For my underbarrel, I run on the Spetsnaz grip, which helps with both your vertical recoil and your horizontal recoil. You have a lot more vertical recoil than horizontal, so you have to be careful with that. The magazine, I run the 40 round speed mags. I see a lot of people running the 50 round speed mags, but this affects your aim down sight time more than that 40 round does. Last but not least, I would recommend running the Serpent Wrap or the GRU Elastic Wrap. Check out the cons and pick whatever you feel like it's the best. Serpent Wrap helps a lot with that aim down sight speed, but the Elastic Wrap helps a lot with that flinch resistance, and it has that higher aim down sight speed. So that's up to you. make sure to check out those cons. Personally, I run the elastic wrap. I like that a lot more. Now, if you take all of these tips into consideration, you should complete this pretty fast. I'd recommend running double weapon XP if you have it to get to level 55 as fast as you can. Play Nuketown, get those kills fast, and you should be well on your way. Anyways, let me know what gun y'all want me to do next. I will definitely be willing to do any weapon y'all want. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I will see y'all in the next one.